in looking at the Nets roster as constructed right now, it seems to me the perception with this team is like, okay, chaos, chaos, chaos. We all know. Now the pieces are coming back together. We got to get Ben Simmons healthy again, and see them roll the ball out as a trio more together. Do you see the Nets making little minor moves at the trade deadline, or is this more? I kind of get the perception like this is locked in. We got to see how this plays out now. What's kind of your perception as we inch closer to the trade deadline?
So at one point it looked like that. There's rumors out there. Ian Begley of SNY had said the Nets checked in on John Collins. And even by checking, I mean, like checking in could be just like, an assistant GM texting another assistant GM and saying, hey, what are you guys looking for John Collins? Like it could literally, I mean, why you do that? That's part of your job to do that. But if you do actually want to follow through on something like that, you basically would have to trade Joe Harris, right? So like Joe Harris is the name that is both completely beloved within the Nets organization. Jacques Vaughn came out, I think it was about a week ago. Joe had a bunch of games where he was shooting horribly, and reporters asked him about it. And Jacques came out and said, Joe is such a special person that we need him here. We need him to be good, and we know he'll be good because he's too good of a person for us not to have him, which is a pretty big stamp of approval, right? But if you look at this roster, KD, the funny thing I'm about to say is like, you're not going to trade him, but like all these guys can request trades and then you never know.
Sure.
But, you don't think you trade KD. Kyrie is pretty untradeable, as good as he may be. It's tough to imagine another team like really excited to do that besides maybe the Lakers, but the Lakers are really rounding into form. Ben Simmons, again, is like another guy where there may be teams who want him, but like, why would the Nets go down that road? What would they get for him? So like, if you just go down the list, Joe is at $18 million a year. He's an expiring contract. He is a valuable player for some teams. You could definitely see some team. You could do a trade where if a team has a surplus at one position and the Nets feel like, okay, if we trade Joe, we still have Seth Curry and Royce O'Neal and Patty Mills, and Ben Simmons is, I guess, like he's a point guard, but he's a wing, but he's a center.
Right.
So you have a bit of a surplus too at wing shooters. Not that Ben is that, but Joe's the best one in terms of pure shooting plus a little bit of size, where like Seth Curry's a little smaller. Patty Mills is not even playing that much at this point, but they have options. So if they felt like they needed to make a move, that would be the move, is to trade Joe for something. Now everyone in Netsland is like, trade him for Miles Turner because they have the same contract, and everyone wants another center on this roster. And he would obviously, Miles Turner as a 3-point threat as a center would like be perfect with Ben Simmons, because you can't play Ben without all shooters on the floor. But, I think I go back to what you originally said, Matt, which is like it's hard to conceive of a trade because this team is it's constantly evolving and figuring itself out, that it's not like you have answers to questions yet. You still need to even like come up with the questions to then get the answers.
Hard to know your needs when you haven't seen the full potential.
Yeah. It's so, I think the Nets will ultimately pretty much stay pat, unless if it's like unless if things blows up, or two, it becomes very clear that like what they could get for Joe Harris would be very significant in terms of helping them right now and filling, whether it is like a Miles Turner hole or something else, like something like like a real point guard. Because they don't even really have a real point guard at this moment.
Interesting. You mentioned meta. I can't help myself. You said you were really interested, but it seems like you changed your mind. Is it too early? Because to me, I'm a hater on the metaverse. I think it looks ridiculous. I've heard the UFC president Dana White really invest in this. It seems like he's all in on this. I don't really, from what I've seen from the software, I think it's pretty primitive at this point. But it seems like you see more hope in this platform. Like, what's changed your mind? What's been kind of the 180 with this? Because we've even seen, I think the NBA's, correct me if I'm wrong, they've explored, going with the metaverse in some avenues as well. So what's really changed your mind in terms of kind of having a negative opinion of this new technology?
the world is open again, and I ain't got to put no goggles on. I can just go to the sports bar and sit down and watch the game.
Right. There you go.
Just being real, man. Like with the world open again, I don't want to go into another world. I want to stay in the world I'm at, right? You know.
You want to grocery shop with Mark Zuckerberg?
Man. You got enough to see in the real world as it is. You want me going to a big. Listen, I was in there, right? And it's weird to say I was in there. It's like a club, right? I went. I was there. I was in there, and it's unique. It's different. It's definitely interesting. And I use different ways of testing my family members just to kind of see how other human beings would relate to it, right? I use my daughter who's 9, right? She's a great guinea pig. I love my child. Not a guinea pig, but she's a great person to test things on because she's young and this is the future consumer, right? She's going to be spending money on this. She loves it. My uncle, right? He's in his late 50s, early 60s. And he loves it. And I can imagine waking up on a Sunday morning and saying, hey, uncle, you want to go play some golf? And we both hop on our goggles and we're able to talk to each other through that. There's a football game by Andrew Hawkins, NFL pro, status pro, does a great job. You're in that thing and you're the quarterback. You're looking at your wrist. You got the people around you. You look up in the stadium. You can see the dome. You know what I mean? The sky. If you're in a college, you can see it feels real. Like it is really, really good. I haven't put my Oculus on in 4 months.
There you go.
So, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't use it alike. And so that's what I'm saying. Like we're back open again. The world is back open, and so. I love it when I'm engaged with it, but it's to deal with everything in the world and you have to put that thing on and go into another world and have to deal with some nonsense from a damn cartoon. Like, I mean, there are people in there that are talking to each other. Yeah. There's guys in there trying to get girls' numbers. I mean, like it's real. I'm telling you, like it's real. It is. You can talk to one another. It is a really good thing. And when you're watching NBA games, it really feels like you're on the front row. Like, I mean, it really is a great experience. So I can see a vision. I can see a path. I can see a business model, but you got to bring people in. And that's going to be the hard part, getting them in there. You need a Facebook account to get on there, right? Obviously, people who may not trust Facebook now, how are you going to work around that? So, it's just going to take some time to figure out how they want to do it. But I mean, it's a great concept. It's just getting people there. Like I said, I haven't been in there in a while. Maybe I might go in after this. I doubt it, but we'll see.
Is there a happy medium just with kind of the crypto space with NBA Top Shot? You purchase, a Steph Curry card, an NBA Top Shot, and then somebody wants that card, you exchange it for tickets to a game. Because that's a different way of experiencing the NBA compared to just buying a ticket and going. Or there's a game that may not be on a random Tuesday night that may not be appealing, but you get a free, NBA Top Shot, collectible if you go. What do you see more kind of in that space in terms of technology being integrated with not only the NBA but other sports instead of just kind of the metaverse and other fashions?
Yeah, I do. I mean, listen, they have that now. Forget what is it? There's a company that's doing it. They slipped my mind. Maybe it's probably not meant for me to say their name because they're not like they're paying me to promote them. But they doing some interesting stuff, and it's those incentives of collecting Top Shots or exchanging your ticket, like they're coming to, right? What I'm most interested in seeing in this new wave of this new different, right, is what we call it after pandemic, is I'm most interested in seeing how blockchain, not crypto, how blockchain is going to change some things, whether that be the ticket exchange, whether that be how you sell your tickets, how NBA teams are able to put their tickets on it. I'm interested to see that tech and what it does, right? The NFL obviously is a believer in blockchain because they're backing it now. Not crypto, but blockchain. Yeah. When you go overseas, right? And I'm listening to, conferences and they're going in the Middle East, they say the same thing. We love blockchain. We don't like crypto, but we like blockchain. I'm interested to see what that tech does and the new innovation that they'll put around that and how, that direct to consumer will tie in. That's what I'm really interested in. All the other stuff, the Top Shots and all that, I mean, that's good stuff to have, but a part of me feels like that's a wave. Give me 10 years, 15 years of you being around, like, the real, tops, the cards, like they prove that they're around, they show and prove, then I'll pay attention to it. But for right now, like, I just need you to have that longevity because I've seen so many companies get into sports. We were so thrilled about them when they pop up. And then 5 years later, they're done. you know, because we're, again, it's a microwave society. We don't look at business models. We don't say, all right, is this sustainable or is this a wave right now? And right now, you know, listen, Top Shots, you know, they're up and down, right? They're going through it. So we'll see if they have lasting, if they have that longevity. If they do, then I think there's ways to kind of create those incentives, and you bring people into games by offering that. And you do it now. It's not, don't get me wrong, you do it now, but I feel like it'll be a much better. And I feel like people will take it more seriously if it's around them.